在美国读书，你会惊讶地发现自己的老师有多牛。这位曾经是宝洁、三星、雅虎、百事可乐、必胜客的高管 CEO 是我的老师。
For Pizza Hut, instead of going to the headquarters office, I actually went to the restaurant, doing everything from cleaning floors to washing dishes to preparing the pizzas, delivering pizzas.
他是如何在短短1-2年内把濒临破产的必胜客逆风翻盘，成为最受欢迎的餐厅之一。
But to improve the quality and reduce the price, and third, have higher profit. That's the difficult part.
对于中国企业未来的发展，他是这样说的。
I've actually believed that there are many Chinese companies that are going to eventually become very large global companies. The Chinese companies, I think, have a big advantage because...
Hello everyone, today we have a special guest, my Professor Sam Lee. He's someone I really respect and admire. Professor Lee, could you say hi to everyone and introduce yourself briefly?
Hi, my name is Sam Lee. I'm a professor here at Cal State Long Beach. I also teach at Cal State Fullerton. I'm originally from Korea. I guess I would consider myself a bit of an internationalist because I left Korea when I was 9 years old. My father went to work in Nepal, and when he joined the United Nations. We followed him there, so I lived in Nepal, Thailand, and then I've been living in many different countries all over the world. So born and raised in Korea, lived and worked in many different countries. And I'm a marketing professor, as well as international business, global marketing, digital marketing, entrepreneurship as well. So I teach quite a lot of different courses. And I've been here for 6 years. But before that, I had a long career in corporate life, in the corporate world. Yes. And I've been working, started with Procter & Gamble in the USA in marketing. Then I worked for Citibank in the retail bank and credit card marketing. Then I worked for Pepsi Cola. I was head of marketing for Asia Pacific. And then I went and joined a company called SC Johnson Wax, which is a US consumer products company, but I was responsible for sales and marketing for Asia Pacific. So I was going back and forth in the US and Asia for that one. And then after that, I joined a company called Bristol Myers Squibb, which is a US pharmaceutical company. So I ran their business in Malaysia and Singapore. And then I went into the internet world and joined a B2B internet company called Asia Online, based out of Hong Kong. But I was executive VP, also a regional CEO for several countries in Southeast Asia. After which I joined Yahoo as the CEO for Yahoo in Korea. This was when Yahoo was still quite big. And then I eventually became head of Yahoo for Asia as well. So that was quite very interesting time with Yahoo, after which I joined Samsung Electronics, looking after global marketing for their digital media products. And then my very last corporate life was working for Pizza Hut. I was head of CEO for Pizza Hut in Korea, and then I was also took a responsibility for Pizza Hut in Thailand. A little over 30 years in various different corporate worlds, in many different industries, different countries, both in the US, but primarily in many different countries in Asia.
Wow.
So that's my background.
Yeah, that's such an impressive journey. And with such impressive career in different leading company, I'm so curious, what brought you to the US to teach at a university?
I've always been fortunate. I had some very clear goals in life. So from a very young age, I was 14 when I declared to my father, who was at that time a marketing expert, and he was working for the UN at that time. So ever since then, I've been very focused on building my career. And then I became CEO eventually. Became CEO for 4 different companies in different industries. So basically I achieved my goal. So as I was thinking about my next goal, what I wanted to do was I wanted to be an educator. I wanted to teach other young people using my experience to help them become better business leaders and better global marketers. That's when I decided I wanted to become a professor. As a CEO for Pizza Hut, I did my PhD as well. Because my children are all here in the US, we decided to come to the US, and so I just continued my career. So this is my passion now, this is my vision.
Yeah, thank you for teaching here. We do learn a lot in your class.
Thank you.
And one of the highlights of your career that you, as a CEO in Pizza Hut, you have turned things around there. So could you share what's the main strategy, what's the main challenge at that time?
By the time I joined Pizza Hut, I had already been CEO for 3 other companies before, and each of them were in trouble. They were not doing well, and I helped to turn the business around when I went in there. So I was already known as a bit of a turnaround specialist. So that's what they wanted me to do with the Pizza Hut in Korea, because Pizza Hut in Korea, when I joined them, was not doing very well. So I joined them in 2008, and since the beginning of 2000, the business had gone down, sales had gone down, they began to lose money. Customers were no longer coming to Pizza Hut, they were going to other competitors. When I first started working for Pizza Hut, instead of going to the headquarters office, I actually went to the restaurant for 3 months so that I could be fully trained in doing everything from cleaning floors to washing dishes to preparing the pizzas, delivering pizzas, so I could run the whole operations. So I understood what the people dealing with our customers every day actually experience, what they need to do. Then after 3 months, I went to the headquarters and I talked about the fact that we need to put the needs of the customers first. So we started with that because the reason I did that is so that I could create a culture where people will do anything to meet or exceed the needs of our customers. If I had said that during the first day, by coming to the headquarters office without spending any time at the stores, at the restaurants, I don't think people would believe me. They would just say, oh, every CEO, every executive says the same thing. Then we could take up the issue that we identify, such as the fact that we have identified price and taste as the two big issues. So how do we overcome that? So that's when we began to talk about that, what we need to do. Before, even though the research was there, people didn't pay much attention because they were more concerned about how they look to their bosses, they're more concerned about satisfying the needs of their bosses rather than the needs of the customers. So once you create a culture where we really say we want to make sure that we put the needs of customers first, then everybody can work towards the same goal. And so I was known as a turnaround expert, but what I really focused on was diving deep to understand what is happening, what benefit are people not feeling from Pizza Hut in Korea that they were getting before. People felt that it was too expensive, and second, Pizza Hut Korea did not taste good. Very strong reasons as to why customers are not coming. Identifying the problem was not so difficult. Creating a solution is much more difficult. So in order to create a solution, which everybody was expecting me to do, what I wanted to do was I wanted to change the culture of the company first. How we deal with customers, how we value each other. Essentially, I wanted to create a company where we really lived and breathed the concept of putting the customers first. So what that means is within Pizza Hut Korea, we had about 6,000 employees. We had a lot of employees because we had many restaurants. But most of the people that worked for Pizza Hut worked at the restaurants dealing with customers, right? And then we had a headquarters in Seoul, Korea that was responsible for marketing, for finance, for HR, for supply chain, and support activities. So this was the brains of the organization. The people that work at the restaurants were the ones dealing with the customers on a day in, day out basis. Our customers are the ones that pay us. They're the ones responsible for my salary and all of our employees' salary. What that means is within our company, the people who work closest with our customers should be at the top of our hierarchy, at the top of our organization. Those are the part-time students and the assistant managers and so on that work at the restaurants.
Yeah, the first line.
The first line. We wanted them to be able to do their jobs very well because they're the ones closest to our customers. They're the ones dealing with our customers day in and day out. And everybody else, what we should be doing is helping to support our people who are closest to our customers do their jobs the best they can. Our job, if we really want to serve the customers, from a staff, from an executive, from me as the CEO of the company, is to support the part-time students and all the people at the restaurant to be able to do their job the best. That allowed us then to come up with a strategy of how to improve the taste and lower the price.
That's challenging.
That's
right?
challenging, right? Because it's easy to improve the taste at a higher
But the
if you
cost
put more right.
would be goes
Right? But if you can do that, your competitors can also do that. It's easy to do that. Anybody can improve the quality if they put more money into it, usually.
Yes,
but
that's
to
true.
improve the quality and reduce the price, and third, have higher profit. That's the difficult part. So how do you do all of that? That's how you actually perform better than the competition. So you have to meet all three requirements, and that's tough.
Yeah, that's very tough.
But that's what we need to do if we want to turn the business around. And in order to do that, I had to change the culture of the company first.
That's very tough because the company, for the past years, it has been
losing sales,
money
that's
and
right. Losing customers.
losing customers. So
That's why running a business is not easy. You have to take on the challenges. If you're listening to your customers telling you it doesn't taste good and the price is too expensive. So you need to address these issues. And you have an internal company directive, which is to increase the profits. Otherwise, you're not going to turn the business around.
what was the key point you have turned it around?
So there were many, many things. This was probably my most difficult turnaround business. Usually I was able to turn the business around in less than 1 year. This one took nearly 2 years to turn around. But eventually we developed a new line of pizza. We were able to come up with a solution where we improved the taste of the pizza, price it nearly half the price, but same profit margin. So that's difficult to do, and it took us a long time. We started with the dough, we redid the sauces, we came up with a different cheese, different topping, and we advertised that in a very creative way as well. So it was very, there was multiple activities that we did to come up with a solution, but because everybody believed that it's our mission to address the needs of the customers, people didn't give up. So we were able to set a very high bar that we wanted to hit. That was the start. And from there, we had many, many other innovations. And Pizza Hut Korea became the innovation center for Pizza Hut worldwide. So lots of other Pizza Hut executives, our chairman of the company, came to Korea to learn from us how we became so innovative.
Do you think there are any new marketing trends, technology in the future impacting the brand? Now we are talking AI, different things.
Sure. AI is basically data processing. So I think one of the most important things, especially from a marketing perspective, is ability to analyze information, to analyze data. It's easy to get big data. It's easy with your websites, with our apps and so on, for any company to get a lot of information about customer behavior. Not so easy to make sense of that data. So I think the ability to do what's called data analytics, to be able to see patterns in the information, in the data. Staying with Pizza Hut example, right? So you could have customers, when I first looked at the data for Pizza Hut, on average, people were purchasing from us once every 45 days. But that's an average number. When we look at the details, we saw that there were groups of customers who were buying once every 30 days, once every 60 days. Maybe some people only buy a couple of times a year. Small group of customers that were buying from us once a week. There weren't that many, but they accounted for a big portion of our sales. Have you heard of the 80-20 rule, where 20% of customers make up 80% of revenue? That happens in almost every business. We saw the same thing. So instead of sending out an average coupon every 45 days, we sent out customized offers to people based on their individual behavior patterns. And that comes from data analytics. And I think that AI is basically helps you understand data so that you can hopefully market to your customers in a more effective manner. If the message is something that addresses a need that I have, then it's very useful information. It has nothing to do with my needs. It's just a message that's sent to everybody with the same offer. Then that's junk mail, and you're wasting time and money and effort. The right message at the right time, at the right price, then the likelihood is that you will get sales. You'll get more reaction that way.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but there's lots of tools out there to help you do that. So whether you're a big company or small company, I really believe that you really must invest in data and the ability to analyze data so you can target your customers with the right offer, right price, right time. If you really take the time to understand the customer, any business can improve their marketing effectiveness. What the customer feels about your product, your service, and how they behave, you can be a lot more effective. I truly believe that.
Nowadays, there are many Asian companies want to go to the US market, especially the Chinese companies. Do you have any key advice for them to make success in the US?
I've actually believed that there are many, many Chinese companies that are going to eventually become very large global companies. The Chinese companies, I think, have a big advantage because China is a big domestic market. So the Chinese companies can learn a lot from doing business in China. They also have a lot of competition in China, so they can learn and improve their skill sets. But that's one country. There's the world to go after. So when companies want to come from China, let's say, to the US market, I think there are two things that get in the way. One is the cultural differences between China and the US. It's quite different, not just in terms of how people behave, but about everything, right? How things work, okay?
Yes.
What motivates people. So there's a big cultural gap. The way people respond to marketing is quite different. But I've been into China many times. I've done business everywhere in Asia as well as the US. If you look at the websites in China, the design of the websites, Chinese websites tend to be, e-commerce websites in particular, tend to be very busy, have a lot of colors, things that are blinking here and there, bold and so on. There's lots of things. US websites tend to be a lot simpler, less color, less distracting, and focus on the key messages. So that's just one example. Consumers are going to want different things because they behave differently. So I think for Chinese companies to come to the US, I think one, they have to be willing to invest time and effort to learn the cultural differences from a consumer and customer perspective. And two, they need to be patient and not only think about, well, this is how it works in China, so why doesn't it work in the US, right?
So be localization.
They have to be able to localize what they bring. So that means being open to learning about the US market, being open to learning about how customers behave differently over here, as well as the cost and the different infrastructure and the work expectations. There's small things like, you can expect employees in China to work very long hours. In the US, it's not going to be the same thing, right? The productivity levels might be different. So your employees may probably behave differently and your customers may behave differently. So need to be patient, need to be open-minded, maybe do it in stages. Maybe start with just exporting, and then the second stage may be find a local partner to do business together and learn from that before doing your own thing later on.
Before to be independent.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Sure.
We appreciate you share so many valuable insights. And I believe our audience will benefit a lot.
I hope so.
Thank you.
谢谢大家！如果你喜欢这个视频的话，请务必订阅、点赞、转发，这会对我们有很大帮助。